Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, April 22nd is a great day if you're a boxing fan. You got, on the Showtime side of things, you have Andre Berto versus Sean Porter. Good welterweight scrap. They just added Luis King Kong Ortiz to that card. And on the Top Rank side of things, in California, my state, at the StubHub Center, you have Oscar Valdez taking on Miguel Mariaga, who beat Nicholas Walters in the amateurs. He lost to Walters as a pro, and this is a good title defense for Oscar Valdez. They also have Gilberto Ramirez, who's fighting Ma Bursak, who was linked, I think, to fight Billy Joe Saunders, but one of them got injured or something. And the pro debut of Newark, New Jersey's Shakur Stevenson, silver medalist in the 2016 Rio Olympics, representing America. So, it should be a good card. The only disclaimer is the Top Rank card is a pay-per-view card. And I think it's HBO pay-per-view. I'm not sure if Top Rank is going to do what they did in the Pacquiao Vargas card and do a Top Rank pay-per-view, but it is pay-per-view. It is that. It is that. Now, they did a conference call to promote the April 22nd card, triple header. Again, Oscar Valdez, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, and Shakur Stevenson. And in that, Bob Arum had some quotes where he thinks that if Zurdo Ramirez gets past his opponent Ma Bursak, and I haven't really seen enough of Bursak to think that he would beat a champion in Ramirez, but you never know. Ramirez is coming off of a long layoff and an injury. He hurt his hand in his fight, and he's been out, so he's a new champion. You never know. You never know, especially coming off an injury. But if he gets past Bursak, there's another top-ranked fighter who should be the mandatory if he wins his next fight, and that's Philadelphia's Jesse Hart. So that fight might happen next, but Bob Arum is stating the fight that Zurdo really wants is against Gennady Triple G Golovkin. I have to throw in that Bob Arum. Mayweather, he's a boring fighter. Gotta throw in that Bob Arum. But that's the fight that Ramirez has been calling for. He's called out Golovkin, but it didn't seem like it was going to happen. Team Golovkin has been on record, and even though there's a few people like Carl Froch, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., they were interested at 168, they were not interested really in Andre Ward or Zurdo Ramirez, because those guys openly called out Golovkin at 168, and we never got to see anything materialize. But the Froch fight, it looked like they were trying to negotiate that, and the Chavez fight, and those fell through for whatever reason. I think Chavez Jr. had legal trouble with Top Rank, so it just all fell apart. But Zurdo has been calling out Triple G for a while. Now it looks like it may be an actual possibility in the near future. Reason I say that is because Abel Sanchez did an interview with my dude, shout out to KO Artist Sports, and Abel Sanchez, he did that interview, it was an exclusive interview, and he says they want to fight Billy Joe Saunders in June, and if they beat Billy Joe Saunders, they'll get his WBO belt, become undisputed middleweight champion, which hasn't been done since Bernard Hopkins. And then from that point, if they can make a fight with the redhead, he called him, they're talking about Canelo Alvarez, if they can easily make that fight, then they'll do it. But he said if not, then they'll look elsewhere and probably leave the division, vacate all the belts where they believe Daniel Jacobs has a shot to be a long-standing champion based on the tough fight, gritty fight heart that he showed versus Golovkin. And they said they would vacate and move to super middleweight. Now that raised the antennas of a lot of people in the boxing world. James DeGale said, I want to fight Golovkin. Zurdo Ramirez and his promoter are saying they want the fight. Andre Ward would make 168 for the fight. You know what I'm saying? So I told you, it's a classic case in boxing where a fighter shows some vulnerability, shows that they are human, and the hunter becomes the hunted. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people. Now, am I saying that Golovkin loses to Ramirez? No, I'm not saying that, because I don't know. Because Ramirez, like I said, he's coming off injury. We don't know what he's made of. We really don't, because Arthur Abram, that was a good win for him in his career. But to keep it a buck, Arthur Abram been lost to Andre Ward, and he's probably not the same Arthur Abram. He had been in you know what I mean, tough fights with like Martin Murray and stuff like that. So he had, this is not the Super 6 Arthur Abram. It's been some time since that. So again, it's good for Ramirez's young career to beat a guy like Arthur Abram and become a champion, but that doesn't prove everything that I need to know about Zurdo. You know what I mean? Because I've seen different fights. He looked better in certain fights. He didn't look good. I covered the Rios Alvarado 3, and he was on that. That's when I first met him. And he didn't look great on that card to me. He fought one of Lomachenko's manager's fighters, and he just didn't look great in that fight. It was a top rank card, and that was my first time really getting to watch him, and I was like, this is the guy that they're raving about. But after, it looked like he got better. They put him on True TV, and he had some solid performances, highlighted by his win over Arthur Abram. I thought he looked really good, and he showed me something in that fight. He showed me he can not only just kind of come forward with aggression and quote-unquote Mexican-style body punches, inside work, and stuff like that, but he could actually box, and he could move a bit. You know what I mean? Especially with his size. Now, I met him not just on that occasion. He was also at the Terrence Crawford-Victor Postal fight in Las Vegas. Seen him there, too. He had the hand injury. I'll probably put some clips in this video. But the dude's big. I'm a big dude. I'm like 6'5", and he's legit 6'2", 6'2.5". He's every bit of that. He's a big dude. So that's what makes it very interesting if Golovkin moves up to 168, because you got guys at 168 and their frames are immediately different than the guys at 160. You put Gilberto Ramirez, stand him up next to Curtis Stevens and see the height disparity. It's going to be night and day. And I'll put the picture of Golovkin when he met Gilberto Ramirez, and Ramirez looks considerably taller than him. So if Team Golovkin's plan is to unify at middleweight and they feel they have no more business at middleweight and they can move on to greener pastures, maybe give Golovkin a bit of a break on the weight cut, I would definitely like fights with Zurdo, Ramirez, and top level guys, champions like that, because I think it's a tough fight. Bob Arum even said he would make a winner takes all bet because he's so confident that Zurdo Ramirez would destroy Golovkin. So I don't know, seeing is believing. I'm not a promoter, so I don't have to say he would destroy him, but I could tell you it's a good fight from what I've seen, because people are griping and complaining. And this is the funny thing when it comes to, like, I guess, damage control. The Golovkin-Jacobs fight, bottom line, Jacobs did better than a lot of you guys thought. Not me. I talked to Jacobs. No, Jacobs. Jacobs, he actually gave me credit for fair reporting, and the video's up on the page. But I knew Jacobs was going to do good and possibly beat Golovkin, and I thought he did win, even though he didn't get the decision. So I knew it was going to be, at the very least, a tough fight for Golovkin, because this was the first time that I've really seen an in-prime guy with some momentum, despite his loss. He had bounced back from cancer and stuff. And the funny thing is, people, for damage control, because it was such a close fight, and they completely slated Jacobs and gave him no shot in hell. And then when he actually went the distance, you have to kind of save face and do damage control if you overrated Golovkin in terms of leading up to the fight. You thought he was just going to destroy Jacobs and knock him out brutally in the first round, and he got knocked down, but he actually got better after that, just like Ward Kovalev. Ward got better after the knockdown, and that's the mark of a true champion. But it was a close fight. I would not say that Golovkin-Jacobs was a robbery, because I don't think it was a robbery. I don't really call close fights like that a robbery. I believe who I seen win, and that's what it is. But I wouldn't say it's a robbery, because it was a close fight. There's some things Jacobs could have done to improve. I thought he was doing a great job of pushing Golovkin back, but then he would just ease up and allow Golovkin to like reset and start stalking him and trying to cut off the ring, which he does very well. Golovkin also had an excellent jab. See, the criticism, the commentary on my channel, it's fair, and it's based on what I've seen. But again, the damage control that I've seen with a lot of fans who are in disbelief that Golovkin, his knockout streak of 23 fights in a row, was ended by Jacobs. A lot of them were lying, just outright lying. Jacobs missed the IBF weigh-in, and now you have a bunch of keyboard fans or whatever who probably didn't even watch the fight and just watch highlights and are a fan of one fighter as opposed to the sport of boxing. Now they're making up all these weights that Jacobs possibly weighed on the night of the fight. But how would you know that if he didn't even weigh in? they didn't even do a weigh-in. And there are people saying he was a cruiserweight. He weighed 190 and 189, 185. How do you know? So that's interesting to me, because let's say it's true, hypothetically, which that's just, I don't think he weighed 190 or whatever. But people are complaining that a guy was more durable based on him having the frame and being bigger than Golovkin. So, oh, you can't expect Golovkin to knock everybody out. So what happens if Golovkin were to fight a guy like Gilberto Ramirez? And what I seen, this is just my opinion, I think Jacobs used a little bit more reserve than he had in him because of the aura of Golovkin. He got knocked down. He didn't want to make any mistakes. So I'm not gonna say he was tentative, because he definitely was letting his hands go. But I think he was still doing it and being cautious in spots where he didn't just kind of just really try to back Golovkin up for long periods of time, because he knows there's some danger there, right? But from what I've seen with Ramirez, his DNA, he could box, but he naturally has, I think, a bit more constant aggression. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he feels you're smaller like Golovkin. So I don't know. Arum's saying he'll destroy him. I don't know. Golovkin could win that fight just because Ramirez, he might not be at the level. Of course, Ramirez has to get. See, that's what I don't do. That I don't vouch for anybody until I've seen enough of them to the point where I can. All I know is it'd be a good fight. I really feel it would be a good fight. Golovkin could win, but I think Ramirez has a shot there too. He's a champion. He's, like I said, a legit 6'2.5" or so, and he's younger. He has power that I don't think you could just walk down. In fact, I think most of the guys at 168, the top level guys, I don't think they have power that Golovkin doesn't have to respect. You know what I mean? I think he would have to respect all of the top guys. James DeGale, even Badu Jack when he was at 68, Gilberto Ramirez, Andre Ward. I think he's going to have to respect all their power and actually box. And you've seen Golovkin post Jacobs fight. He said, hey, no, Max, I'm no killer, I'm no animal, I'm a boxer. Like, so it's funny. What happened to Mexican style? You know what I mean? Again, you have to box when you're fighting bigger people. That's just, it is what it is. And that's not what HBO sold us. Like Floyd Mayweather, he started fighting bigger guys later in his career because he moved up 5 divisions. Pacquiao moved up 8 divisions, started fighting bigger guys. So you have to switch some things up. That's the only way you'll be able to coexist, because guys are naturally bigger, tougher, more resilient, durable, could take your shots better, have power punches that may be able to affect you more. You know what I mean? So you have to get smart. So I'm not complaining that Golovkin is no killer and no animal and box, because that's what you have to do. That's smart of him. But again, it's not really what they built Golovkin up as. They made it like he's just this Mexican style, like he just cyborg that keeps coming forward, and that's not what I've seen. He's an aggressive boxer puncher. Needless to say, I would love the Ramirez fight with Golovkin. I like the Jesse Hart fight for Ramirez too. If he gets past Ma Bursak, I definitely want to see that fight. That's a good fight with top level guys, top rated guys, ranked guys. Let me know what you guys think. If Zurdo was able to fight Golovkin, who would you pick in that fight? I think it's a good fight. And Bob Arum says he would do a winner takes all. He believes Gilberto would destroy him like he did Arthur Abram. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.